Hey everyone, it's Mia from Jedl, and today we're going to be breaking down how to answer a 12-mark response in PDHPE. General structure for a 12-mark response should begin with a brief introductory statement, which is 1 or 2 sentences long. Then, for each body paragraph, you should include an explanation of concepts and content, examples, and a link to the question. Now, the number of paragraphs you write completely depends on what area of the syllabus you're covering. A physical preparation question, for example, would require 4 body paragraphs because of the 4 sub-dot points under this area. However, some areas of the syllabus may be longer or shorter, so you should determine how long and how many paragraphs you write based on this. A brief concluding statement is all you need to finish off your response because in the end, it's not an English essay. You just want to reiterate that you are answering the question. Okay, let's break down this 12-marker for sports medicine. Analyse how adequate physical preparation for sport can prevent injuries. In your response, refer to 2 different sports. Straight off the bat, I can see that they're emphasising 2 different sports, which I'm going to use as the basis for my response. An example introduction could be physical preparation, including pre-screening, skill and technique, physical fitness, warm-up, stretching and cool-down, are critical for injury prevention in rugby players and marathon runners. So in this introduction, as you can see, it's only a sentence long, but I've hit all the key areas of the syllabus that I'm going to cover in my body paragraphs, as well as introduce my 2 sports which I'm going to analyse, which in this case is rugby players and marathon runners. I've done this strategically because they are 2 very different sports, obviously anaerobic and aerobic, which will enable me to go into depth about my understanding of the purpose of pre-screening. Pre-screening ensures the safety of an athlete prior to commencing sports training, identifying pre-existing medical conditions, e.g. asthma or myocardial infarction, prior experience of an athlete affecting biomechanical efficiency, and training objectives, tailoring exercise towards specific goals. For example, pre-screening of a rugby player may be used to identify prior experience. This is critical in injury prevention, as without prior experience, they may not have the skills to safely tackle, placing them at risk of long-term injury such as cervical spinal fracture or spondylolysis. Similarly, pre-screening of a marathon runner may identify pre-existing heart conditions, e.g. coronary heart disease, atherosclerosis or hypertension. This requires the athlete to receive medical clearance before commencing training, e.g. may be required to wear a Fitbit during training to consistently monitor heart rate, preventing injury and long-term health complications, e.g. heart attack. Sports Medicine Australia advises athletes to remain 10 BPM lower than what causes abnormal symptoms, e.g. angina chest pain. Pre-screening questionnaires may also be used to ask athletes questions such as, will this training program cause your condition to worsen? Okay, there's a lot of content in this paragraph, but let's break it down. The first thing you should note is the things highlighted in blue indicate my analysis of the question. For example, I've included how pre-screening can identify pre-existing medical conditions, training objectives, and prior experience. Now, these are all elements critical for injury prevention, which is what I'm focusing on in this paragraph. In terms of my examples, I've included things specific to the 2 sports that I'm analysing. So for my rugby play example, I'm analysing how to prevent injuries for spinal fractures, which is obviously caused by tackles. In a similar way, for my marathon runner, I'm talking about things like heart disease and hypertension, which is all important because marathon running is an aerobic exercise. As you will also be able to tell, in my examples, I'm simply using the abbreviation EG, which is important because it saves a lot of time and is clear to the marker where you're including these specific examples. As you can also see, I've used a lot of abbreviations of for example with EG, and this is something I actually did in the HSE to save me time when writing out my examples. I think it also makes it super clear to the marker just how many examples you're including, which you can see here includes spinal fractures, coronary heart disease, heart attack, chest pain, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, this is not the end of my response, but I will repeat this structure for each sub-dot point, including lots of examples and lots of analysis. And just remember to include a short concluding statement which covers all aspects of the question and your 2 sports that you've analysed. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and check out jedl.com for more resources.